What's up, folks? You are tuned into the Failing Frequency. I'm Ethan,
And I'm Mike.
and we like talking about Star Trek.
We do indeed. We do indeed. And what track are we talking about this week?
We've got loads of Trek to talk about this week. We've got something that you and I thought was never going to happen.
I still think isn't going to happen.
Might never happen.
Half and half.
It might not happen. We've got. Oh, my camera just went dark. We've got trailers. We've got a preview. We've got what is it they used to call trailers of the movies? The previews. We've got a preview for the next series of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, and it's fucking awesome. And then we're gonna. I don't know if you noticed, but we weren't around last week.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I managed to take a tiny bit of time away, and it's not like anything happened last week. So
yeah, no one died.
No one died.
No one died, eh? So we're gonna talk about last week's episode, and then we're gonna talk about this week's episode. And I don't know if you know this, but this week's episode was the season finale, the last episode of the last series of Star Trek Picard, and the last episode of the last series was called The Last Generation. It's a bit of a theme.
Yep.
It's the closest thing this series has to a theme or a fucking metaphor or symbolism or anything. But before we get into any of that fucking nonsense, how you doing, Mike?
I'm good. As we said, I had a bit of time off last week. Spending some time with family, doing needed family stuff. So this week
it was family.
It was family.
See, I wasn't sure if it was a work thing or a family thing, and I made a TikTok, and I was like, I know I've asked him this like twice already, and I've forgotten.
I to download the episode, last week's episode, I had to go up a mountain or half up a mountain and hold my phone for a while in the wet. So I'll show you a photo, but like no sort of semblance of Wi-Fi that moves any quickly. It's up.
Is it up on the screen right now? Nice.
But like, it was worth it for the show.
Does the mountain have a name?
No. Well, it was a hill rather than a mountain, but
Steep hill. The north of England. The north of England.
No, this was the southwest, mate. This was southwest.
Oh no, the southwest. Oh, sorry, just southwest's nice. Which one's that bit? Yeah, the southwest is nice.
That's all right. Yeah. And how about yourself, mate? How about yourself?
Yeah, all right. I also had family stuff to do today, and so I could not join in the festivities of 420, which I'm fine with. I don't really indulge that much anymore. But
he said with sadness in his heart.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. But do you want to know something crazy?
What's crazy?
I like to tell that I took so much joy in telling all of my stoner friends while they were up on Hyde Park in Leeds getting stoned for 420. Yeah. Guess what else today is?
Star Trek Day.
No.
I don't know then.
Hitler's birthday.
Oh. Well, now I'm less happy.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a great way to kill everyone's buzz.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, man.
Bring me down.
He was a baby once.
Yeah. An artist.
There's a picture of it. There's a picture of Hitler as a baby.
Up here.
Nah, mate. Like, yeah, straight up. Yep. So whenever someone says, yeah, I would definitely go back in time and kill baby Hitler, show them that picture and be like, this baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. What a buzzkill, mate. What a
Sometimes
buzzkill.
I do feel shame.
Let's move on to some news. Let's move on to some news.
Man.
You're killing me here.
Yeah. Okay, so like I said, in news that both Mike and I never thought we would hear, and are still somewhat dubious of, we are getting a Star Trek Section 31 fucking movie,
Yeah.
a
So
streaming movie.
this was going to be a TV show for the last 4 years in production. Emperor Giorgio entered the Guardian of Forever and got put back in time or closer to her universe, or
Right
back
up to
in
the
time and
elbows.
closer to her
Got
universe.
right up to the elbows in the Guardian of Forever,
Yeah.
and went into the hole and came out God knows where.
Yeah. And it's kind of been a loose thread that they said they were going to do in a TV show that's I'm
It's never
fine.
happened.
I was fine not having really. I don't think that character was amazing, and I'm not particularly interested in Section 31. But
I
never
mean,
mind. Now it's a movie.
yeah, I mean, like I'm interested in. I like the thought of like, what goes on behind the scenes of the utopia, and also the fact that they said, we're not necessarily sending her back to where she came from. We're not sending, we're definitely not sending her back to the mirror universe. We might not necessarily be sending her back to the like Discovery period. Where could they
Might not
send
be
her?
sending her to this timeline. To be fair, they could put her in the Kelvin timeline for all we know. It just needs to
Yeah,
be physically closer, or whatever that means, to her mirror universe.
I mean, you've read DC comics. You've seen what the multiverse looks like in DC. They're all fucking squished up next to each other.
Yeah,
Just hop one over.
just go the next one across.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So
could be.
I'm happier it's a movie
Hmm.
than a TV show.
Yeah,
It's easier to push through. Like if you're watching 10, 13 episodes of a TV show, it can be a slog sometimes, especially with how Star Trek does it sometimes, where it's a season goes on, maybe 3 or 4 episodes longer than it needs to.
maybe.
Or in the case of Discovery, 5 or 6 episodes longer than it needs to. So having it as a movie where it's done after an hour and a half, 2 hours, happy about that.
Hmm. So they have said the powers that be at Paramount have said that this is their first venture into what they hope is going to be more and more and more Trek films. They've not been making films for a while, but now that streaming is a thing and putting movies out on streaming is popular.
Mm-hmm.
They've just released the movie finale of The Last Kingdom. I don't know if you're into stuff like that,
I
based
don't
on the
know.
Bernard Cornwell books. Um, yeah, like again, they're not going to make another series, but there's enough buzz and there's enough contractual obligations that they kind of have to. So they're like, we'll
Yeah.
just do a movie and just get it done. But
I
they've
think I
also
said a
said,
couple of weeks ago that they should have ended Discovery with a movie as well. So
yeah, would have been good.
yeah,
I've said that this series of Picard could have been 2 or 3 TV movies.
yeah,
That would have been great.
yeah.
They ended Farscape with a double bill of TV movies.
Peacekeeper Wars.
The
Is that?
Peacekeeper Wars, the
Yeah,
Peacekeeper Wars.
Peacekeeper Wars. Yeah.
Yes. And also they've said that this is, with the expansive nature of Star Trek at Paramount Plus, so many different characters. It allows them to start telling more character-centered stories because they do have a lot of shit going on.
More people who've won Oscars that we somehow have contractually obligated to appear in our movies will make a movie with them.
Oh yeah, they did. They did outright say that part of the problem is the contractual obligations and the schedule and conflicts with those people that they have contractual obligations with.
Yeah.
So, no surprise there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this would have been coming at all if Michelle Yeoh didn't win every award this year. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but I also don't think it would actually be happening if Michelle Yeoh didn't actually kind of want to do it.
yeah, she seems to really like the character for whatever reason.
She does, yeah.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
likes, she doesn't often get to play the villain. She's
yeah,
got such a kind face.
and she could be doing after the year that she's had, through the award season, she could pick up whatever role that she wants now.
Yeah,
She could be
yeah.
in the next Knives Out,
She could do a
Um,
sequel to the James Bond film she was in.
yeah, I would have liked that anyway. She was always
Yeah.
a better person than Jinx.
A
So,
better person. Well,
well,
Jinx
yeah.
was a thief. Michelle Yeoh is an actor.
I think Jinx was working with the CIA. She wasn't a thief.
Ugh!
Yeah,
Ugh!
because it was Michael Marsden, wasn't it, as her handler?
That's
God,
much worse. That's
why
much
can't
worse.
I can't remember people's names, but I can apparently remember the plot of Die Another Day.
Mental.
Mm.
Mental. I remember that she had a phone that you clipped the camera onto, and I remember wanting
Yeah.
that phone so badly.
I remember that she had a dragon in her apartment that you pressed a button and fire came out of it. Cool shit Michelle Yeoh had.
Well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so, that's great news, but like we've been saying, believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
I believe it when I see it.
I mean, at least they've done an announcement for a Star Trek movie and the cast are on board as well. The cast knew it was going to happen and they've got cast quotes,
Yeah.
unlike the last couple of times.
Next fucking story.
Yeah.
Fucking Strange New Worlds trailer, finally.
Woo. Yeah.
Oh, it's
kind
great.
of wondering when it was going to come. And finally. I don't see why they don't put the trailer out, because it did come out a couple of days before Picard. I don't see why they don't, straight after the episode comes out.
Yeah. Or before the episode, like a trailer.
Yeah.
Like a trailer at the movies.
But the thing I'm saying is you kind of want people to focus on Picard and keep talking about Picard. And then the second it's done, then you can go, oh, there's still Star Trek coming.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. The problem with that is that Paramount Plus aren't very good at scheduling.
Yeah.
They're not good at scheduling.
Well, for both of these news pieces, we are awfully close to First Contact Day and Frontier Day. And neither of the news pieces came out on either those days.
No.
It's baffling sometimes how they can miss these days, these easy targets that series are on about at the moment.
No. Star Wars has, it's full of Star Wars nerds.
Yeah.
Right? Paramount Plus, they don't have, a Star Trek division. They don't have, a building that's just Star Trek people.
Yeah. Closest to stage 13 or whatever it is. It's not stage 9. Yeah.
So they'll just have, a bunch of... They'll probably just, have scheduling people who say, oh, it's time to put out, it's out in a couple of months, time to put the trailer out.
Yeah.
Can you hold off for a couple of days? I already did it.
Oops. Already pressed go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, it is a ridiculously strong trailer.
Yes.
Excited for the season again.
Yes, there's a couple of jokes in this trailer that were also in the season finale of Star Trek Picard, about fancy flying and about what you say when you're in the captain's chair, and both of them are funnier in this trailer.
Yeah, the captain's chair one isn't really played as a joke in the Picard, I wouldn't say that much.
No.
Not as heavy as it is in Strange New Worlds. Strange New Worlds is the goofy track.
And we love it. And we love it.
Tracksuit people goofy.
And I'm happy, and you know exactly why I'm happy, because it's the thing that I said at the end of the last series of Strange New Worlds that I wanted out of season 2. Because in the trailer we've got fucking Klingons, baby.
Yeah, and TNG looking Klingons, really.
Very TNG looking, sort of Search for Spock, leaning more into Search for Spock, because there is a slight difference. There's slightly more. I don't know. It's
these ones look a bit rubbery to me, but I still think it's a better look for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they do look like a cross between.
My only hope is they can do TOS Klingons as well.
Well, yeah, so they do have the TOS color scheme.
Yeah.
They've got gold armor, sleeveless gold armor with black sleeves. They've got TOS belt buckles. Instead of this.
Yep.
It's one of these. What's that? A parallelogram when it's like that.
Yeah, why
and
not?
that one's a tetrahedron.
Sure. I only did maths. I don't know.
It's one of them is one of them, and the other one is the other, and they went with that one.
They were one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm one of the people that thought the Enterprise way of solving the Klingon look sort of thing was quite smart. The augment virus, and if in this they bump into TNG Klingons and they bump into Disco Klingons and then they bump into a TOS Klingon and he infects them and they all turn into TOS, that's kind of what I'm after, but it'll never happen.
I'm of the school of thought that I like the idea that all of the Klingons we see in TOS had been genetically altered and were probably former spies.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the idea that maybe we'll hang out with some Klingons and there'll be a couple members of the crew that just look like human dudes, but with chin beards.
Yeah.
And,
I do want to see one at least, Yeah.
Just be like, and they'll be like, what's the story with this guy? And he's just like, don't you fucking talk to me. I was embedded in your fucking stupid bloody space navy for a year and a half. I hate you.
Yeah.
I'm sick of the sight of you.
I reckon there's a strong episode in there where there's Klingons shunning other Klingons. And, the Enterprise has to protect the augment virus Klingons against the other ones who are trying to kill them. Again, it won't happen, but, if a man can dream. Yeah.
And a man can dream. And sometimes those dreams have symbols, and those images have symbolism and metaphor and meaning. Just as Deanna Troi. Yes. What else was in the trailer? Some cool imagery.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get a episode back in time with Kirk and what was her name? Khan.
Yes. Khan. Kirk and Khan. Oh man, there's definitely some energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. New Kirk looking as skinny as William Shatner thought he was.
Yeah. This guy's got to start pounding the hot cross buns, really, if he wants to.
He's really fucking. I tell you what, man. He's really got to start putting some fucking weight on. Like, I'm not one to talk. Like, I'm a skinny dude. I'm a lanky boy. But like, if I was gonna play Kirk, I'd have to. I'd be like, I've got to get just thick enough that I have to wear a girdle.
Yeah. Or you just wear one anyway, even if, his size or whatever this guy's name is. Just wear a girdle anyway. You've got to get into the mind space of Shatner.
Yeah. He's got no ass. Like, I might be skinny. I might be skinny, but I've got, you can grab hold. You know?
I didn't even look at
Hey,
his.
man.
So,
Oh, I did.
um, I think it's. Do you think it's kind of weird that they've already like, and probably she's in every episode but one, but number one,
Yeah, they've kind of given that away a bit.
yeah, ending the season on, oh, we're gonna have to get her back, and then all the way through this, we see so little of Pike and so much of her. Really, did they
Hmm.
trade places?
Maybe. Who knows? Who knows how they're gonna break her out?
Yeah,
Maybe that's what they do. They swap. They do an Indiana Jones with the idol swap,
yeah.
and then like a
The
guard walks
waiter.
past, and they're just like, "Who's this prisoner? He's too
Hmm.
handsome to be in jail."
Look at that man's hair. Oh my
No,
god.
no, something terrible happened here. Let him out. Let him out.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, we didn't see any return of. I can't remember which way round it was. Dr. Angel or Aspen. You know, the one breaking
It's
Cybok out.
Captain Angel.
Is it Captain
Captain
Angel?
Angel, who was posing as Dr. Aspen.
Okay, Captain Angel. We didn't see any Captain Angel. Um, so maybe no Cybok this season. Maybe Cybok next season.
Well, or maybe some. They
Not at
just didn't
all.
put it in the trailer because
Yeah.
maybe
Horrible nerds will
oh
look at the trailer too much.
yeah, maybe they'll decode everything. We saw some very cool looking worlds. I've gone back and rewatched it, and I'm like, a couple of these could be in the mind's eye.
Yeah. And that it seems to be a fair mix of volume and real places, doesn't it, as well?
Hmm. Are they
Which
using the
is
volume?
well, Trek's been using the volume since Discovery season 3, something like that.
Has it?
Yeah, like Vulcan in Disco when Book went and they tried to like go into his mind to see what happened just before his planet blew up. That's all. That's all volume, and that's
Cool.
why it looks so lifeless, really. Other
Yeah.
than it being Vulcan,
Hmm.
but yeah, it does seem like it's a good mixture. And that planet where it was like water on the ground as well, and the
Mm.
reflections, that's probably volume, but I don't think we've seen yet that sort
I
of
wonder.
shine off the floor.
I wonder. Do you think it's do you think it's like a do you think it's like a interstellar world, or do you think it's like a soul stone pocket dimension?
I'd hope Pocket Dimension. I hate that world in Interstellar. I hate that world in Interstellar. I could go on a. I could record 50 minutes after this about why I hate Interstellar and that world.
Okay.
Not good. Makes me mad.
Urgh. Oh, what do you mean the whole planet's 3 foot deep except for that bit?
What do you mean they didn't notice the wave when they were approaching the planet? It would have been going very
Who's on the
slowly
other
from.
side? Who's on
Yeah.
the other side?
No, but it goes very fast. And as they approach the planet, it would have been going slower and slower because of that time dilation. So they should have seen the fucking wave.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not mad,
You might be.
might be. Yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting stuff. What was June? June is it?
Yes,
June?
Dune.
No,
There's
June's
no
in
water on
November.
Dune.
There is no water on Dune.
How dare you besmirch
Except
a
the
racket like
water,
that?
except the water of life.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah,
um,
June 15th or 16th it was.
nice.
Something like
It's exciting stuff. I can't wait.
that.
But
Got a bit
that's
of a
it.
wait
That's
now.
it. Yeah, man. That's it for the news. Wait, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Section 31, Stranger New Worlds, Hitler's birthday. Yeah, that's everything.
Yep. That's all the news that needs done on a day like this. Now I can't even cut the Hitler's birthday bit from before.
You mustn't.
Then we're going to go on to start talking about the episodes. We're
Yes.
going to do a short one on last week, really, or 20 minutes or so last week. But there are time codes. If you've been to us before, there are time codes below. So yeah. So I genuinely forgot for a second what this series is called, like the overall series. Picard, season 3.
Yeah, it's the name of the guy.
Vox. Yeah, I was like, oh, the Next Generation season this.
You're not far off.
Yeah. Episode 9, Vox, the penultimate episode. What did you think, even?
Bag of shit.
Yeah.
Absolute bag of shit. There was 2 good jokes, but all of the story elements and fucking like the structure of it, the goings on, how everything unfolded was stupid. I've wanted to like this series so much.
Yeah.
But I've just been like holding out for like, the past few episodes, like leading up to the last 2, we've been like, really need to fucking get the ball rolling. We need some stuff to happen, and then it did, and it was fucking.
I think 2 things have just ruined this season for you. This whole season, series, everything, and it's one of them's hysterical, the other one less so. I thought it was a fine enough episode. I thought the first half it was incredibly clunky, pacing and story wise. Everything, yeah. First half really, I thought was pretty clunky. I think it diminishes a couple of the previous episodes. Specifically anything to do with the villain. I think it diminishes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the back half, I think it gets enough rolling. It gets the ball rolling fast enough for me. The back half that I can forgive her.
Are we doing spoilers and non-spoilers for this?
Let's just go straight onto spoilers now.
Let's just go straight onto spoilers, right? The ball.
You hate the 25-year-old, don't you? Thing.
I hate it. I hate it so much. It kind of solidifies everything that I was kind of low-key feeling about this whole series, which is that, like, we were talking a little while ago that, like, Picard has always been about getting old. First season is about him getting to grips with the thought that he's dying. Second season is about him, having anxiety about leaving a legacy behind when he dies again. This series is about, like, yeah, but sometimes being old is cool.
Yeah. It's like, not necessarily being old. You just have to be 26 years old. Apparently, there's a definite cutoff.
Well, I mean, no one else was. These last 2 episodes seem to be divided almost entirely between retirees and Gen Z, played by millennials.
No, because you've got 7 of 9 there, and for my constant love of Jerry Ryan, she isn't a retiree. She's clearly older. True. She's not.
That's what I say for the most part.
Yeah.
But like, we've got the buffer. We've got a buffer of people in middle age.
Yeah.
But like, there was, they're saying like, this show is basically saying, and I made a TikTok about this. These young people, they're all, you've got this speech by Jack talking about, I found all the wars, the poverty, the injustice.
Yeah.
If only we could all think as one. If only we could all be as one. It's just like old people going, all these young people, they're all socialist communists. All the young people are like, exterminate all unassimilated. That's them going, Oh, they've got the cancel culture. They've got the
See, I
cancel
didn't get
culture.
that from that. I didn't get it from that. I thought
No, no, on its own, all
idealists,
on its own.
the young people who were idealist, where it's like, oh, if everyone just knew, then we'd all like be very happy, because they
Yeah,
already live in a socialist, half utopia. That
yeah, but this
Jack's
this
just
show
unhappy because he's got brain problems.
this show doesn't convey that. It doesn't
Mm.
convey the socialist utopia that is Star Trek. It doesn't portray it. It portrays the militaristic side of
Mm.
Star Trek more than anything. And
I
it
think it's
portrays slick older dudes in cool guy leather jackets.
I think it's quite funny. They trot out the brains under 25 aren't fully developed, which is a bit of a misnomer anyway, because there's not a switch in your head on your 25th birthday that turns on. The your brain is constantly evolving, and the evolution of the brain slows down as you age. So generally, once you're in your 20s somewhere, generally, not every time, it gets to the point where whatever. But all these races, Vulcans who live until they're like 600 or something ridiculous, still have like their brains evolve, their brains growing to the point of exactly 25. That's a bit that's a bit stupid and out there. But it had to be something with the transporters. As I said, like weeks ago, I measured who'd gone in and out of a transporter, and every single one of the crew, even the oldies, had. So they had to do something to say, beyond it just being, if you go in the transporter, you're fucked.
Well, yeah, but like the thing is, the whole series was about the fucking changelings, and like it was quite clear, like that could have been explained. That was, I think everyone explained it as like, yeah, someone goes into a transporter, they go into a buffer, and a changeling posing as them comes out the other side. But I think that's what everyone kind of this whole series set up changeling. We've been dealing with changelings, and then out of nowhere,
Yeah.
the fucking fucking sharp left turn, the Borg.
Yeah. I 100% agree on that. I think this does the changelings so much disservice. And it's such an incredibly minor spoiler. I'm going to say it here rather than in next episode. When they meet the Borg Queen, because we're spoiling episode 9 and we know the Queen's there, the Queen says, oh, the changelings helped us turn our mechanical code into organic code. And the changelings were good at doing that sort of biological encoding biology shit. The Vorta are made by them. They genetically engineer people just for fun, really, or just to be their minions. But why the Borg have this hold over the changelings? Why the changelings are scared of one Borg at that point? Who knows?
It's
Why
yeah,
they're working
that
for them? Who knows?
why they're working for them, what they're gonna get out of this. What are the changelings gonna get out of all of the Gen Z being assimilated? What are the changelings gonna get out of that?
I mean, they would have destroyed Starfleet and a load of organics, but at the same time, they would have made a very strong organic foe for themselves as well, in that these new Borgs would be, mostly organic.
I mean, maybe they
So
can't be assimilated, so the Borg were like, we can't assimilate you anyway, so we're just gonna. But they're
yeah,
made of meat.
they
But these
are.
ones are made of meat. Who says they can't be assimilated?
And this assimilation doesn't need,
Yeah, it doesn't need screws.
nano probes and all that.
No, it doesn't need cogs.
Yeah. So yeah,
Ugh.
I thought that was a bit weak. Back to the 25-year-old thing though. I think it's funny when people trot out the 25-year-old brains are still evolving as a point, and to say like, 25-year-olds, they don't know what they're doing sort of piece. Because even in this, Starfleet is pretty much a military. Sorry,
Yeah.
people who think it isn't. But you've got apparently these ships filled with people who the show is saying their brains aren't developed enough to do stuff for themselves, or to be fully developed. And then you're going, but we stock our ships full of them.
Yeah, so fucking full of under 25-year-olds is Starfleet that when the fucking Borg flip the switch, the whole fleet gets taken over because the young people are all assimilated.
It's not just the flipping of the switch, to be fair. The ships have that link. They are
The
fleet
ships have the
formations.
link. And also,
Yeah.
I'm sure there were a lot of older people, and the younger people are just more nimble physically. They can overpower them. They're more spry.
What makes absolutely no sense at all is Earth and Space Dock seem to be completely immune to this Borg signaling and taking people over. In that, they're like, oh, good on Space Dock, hold on Space Dock, and stuff like that. Again, I'm skipping on a bit. But really, wouldn't that be full of these younglings as well? Don't get it.
Yeah. The explanation of Jack being a Borg, it's not well explained enough. How it works, what's wrong with him, why he's seeing a red door, why everything is red, why his eyes go red. Everything the Borg do is green, or black. When the Borg virus takes over, everyone's eyes go black.
That's like the new styling of Borg taking people over. It's been there since Picard season 1.
Fucking Jack having psychic powers isn't explained. Why is he psychic? Why?
He's only psychic to the under 25-year-olds.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
He doesn't, and even with the over 25-year-olds, he probably can. Like to Picard, at least, he probably can. Because Picard, this semi-retcons why Picard could still hear the Borg anyway, in that you had a bit of your brain that was Borgified that you passed on to Jack, and that's why you could hear them in first contact and stuff like that.
I thought they just he left there was cookies.
Yeah, I always assumed
cookies. He allowed cookies,
how 7 of
or
9.
he allowed cookies, or they allowed cookies. I don't know how cookies work.
Yeah, 7 of 9, they couldn't take all of her Borg shit out.
No.
And I just assumed that they just couldn't take all of the Borg shit out of Picard as well. But, it's fine. It's fine. I don't care about that. What else do we see? Because we're spending too much time on fucking 25-year-olds.
Fucking Counselor Troy running out of breaking the connection and fucking pegging it out of a fucking counseling session. Super professional there, Deanna. Great job. Deanna Troi gets done quite dirty in this season.
See, I think they do better with Troy this season than they do average seasons or movies in TNG and those era movies. Because what does Deanna do anyway? Normally, it is these Klingons, they're angry. Why can I sense someone's angry? Or there's a lot of emotions, but I can't tell if they're lying or not. Just when it would be real advantageous if you knew someone was lying. That's her.
That's
two
your
things
one
that she
fucking job.
Yeah. If it's not that constantly happening, it's her getting mind raped. So, I don't mind what they've done with her this season.
True.
We get the fleet formation now, and we see the Enterprise F, which and Shelby, Admiral Shelby.
Yeah.
which is another surprise cameo. Yeah,
Surprise cameo, great. Dead.
Yeah, more for you.
Vadik.
More for you.
Vadik dead. Shelby dead. Captain Shaw dead.
Yeah.
We
I
did,
saw
and we didn't
a
earn
good
that.
meme this week where it was, and it's kind of fixed a bit with this week's episode, but it was when Shaw gets hit, he passes command on to Seven, and he calls her, Captain Seven, which is the first time he's called it,
We
as far as we
absolutely
know.
knew that was happening. We knew that was going to happen. We definitely called that at the start of this series.
Oh yeah, but the meme has it like, oh, I'll call you Captain Seven now, 7 of 9, because after being shot by the Borg, I have a real affinity for them.
Yeah,
It's a bit
I love
weird.
it. Yeah, man, it's great stuff. Yeah, but we didn't earn that death. Like, there was no emotional moment with Shaw for a good few episodes. Like, there was no, like, we as the audience didn't earn his death.
I think it would have done the character of Shaw more of a service as well, because his backstory is, that we learned a couple of episodes ago. He just got picked randomly as there was one escape shuttle left, and you 5 get on the shuttle, the rest of you stay here and die. Why wouldn't you write it so he is the one that says, no, now it's time for you guys to get on the shuttle. This is time for me to stay here.
He didn't even reference it.
Yeah.
Bad writing. Bad writing this series.
Writing that could be improved.
Raffi taking knives to a gunfight, but it's okay because for no reason at all, the goons also left their guns behind and took knives to a gunfight.
The dumbest shit in the world. That I hated that in the episode.
It just.
I also hated, that they find out the Borg. It's the Borg. And how much does 7 of 9 play? Following that, everyone on that ship knows that she knows a shitload about the Borg, and she's kind of left out the conversation.
She totally left out the conversation. This is not her conversation to have. This is a conversation for the older people in the room.
She's
like
older.
You might have the cool guy leather jacket, but you do not have the bus pass.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was pretty weak.
More fucking boomer wish fulfillment by killing Shaw because there's only room for one tall, handsome man in this show.
And his name is Riker. Yeah.
You call that a beard?
Yeah.
Back in my day, a TV show didn't get good until it earned a Riker's beard.
Yeah. What else did I have on the episode? What else happens?
I think it's probably time to talk about the thing that I'm sure we both very much liked about last week's episode. The D.
Oh, the D, yeah. So back on the D.
Back on the D, baby.
Yeah, and it is a beautiful reproduction. I saw on Twitter and stuff like that, there's a fan reproduction of the D, and they got contacted a year ago to say, maybe we can come film at you or steal parts of your set, and it just didn't happen. So they had to rebuild that, and it's already been taken apart. So
I'm sure it was more a case of like, let's ask them if we can, just in case. Let's ask them if they'll let us, just in case the studio doesn't make us rebuild our own, because we really don't want to.
I mean, one of the things that I liked about last week's episode was at least we got a couple of changes in location. because it's been so stuck on the Titan. Have we been anywhere but the Titan and the Shrike, like for real small bits in the last
Metallus Prime. Terry
but that was
Sorry.
like episode 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
3 or 4. So we haven't left there in 5 episodes. And
The La Serena. What happened to La Serena?
This is how Worf and Raffi supposedly move between places sometimes, but also they leave their ship and they go, and then they find the ship again. It's dumb. Yeah, and the La Serena doesn't cloak as well, so poor ship. Yeah, so I was starting to feel claustrophobic. So getting the D, not only nostalgic wise, but also, getting the D. But also having a ship there that is, or having a new set and a beautiful new set as well.
A new set?
It's new. It's new for this series. It's lit.
It's lit. Oh, there you go. There's some symbolism for you. Oh my God, that bridge lighting up was like the longest single shot I've ever seen. And going back and rewatching it, it wasn't as long. When it first came on and the lights were turning on, it's like, come on, higher, brighter, come on.
They spend a good long time on that bridge as well, going like, oh, I won't ask you to follow me in. Going, oh, no, we're family. Okay, where are we going? Oh, we're going this way. Oh, we're doing this. And it's lucky that, I'm semi-blinded by nostalgia, but that ship shouldn't be able to be crewed by 5 people. It's a ship of 1,000, a good couple 100 officers, and it's got 5 people on and a couple of dots that now they've brought over from Discovery.
Yeah, man. And those guys in that fucking convention center with warp nacelles, they're gonna go save the fucking day. Those fucking old ass boomers, space boomers, but not the kind from Enterprise.
Yeah. I thought it was real dumb as well, where they're talking about, Geordie's saying about loading in the dots, or the drones are loading in torpedoes. And Riker's like, well, we won't have much, so we'll have to fight or run. And it's like, you're traveling towards a fleet of hundreds of starships. If you try and fight, it will last seconds.
Yeah, man.
Seconds. What are you doing, you Egypt? Yeah. Fight or run, my arse.
Yeah, but we've got carpets. We've got carpets, and we've got Majel Barrett's voice.
A nice return.
Yeah, man. From beyond the grave.
Yeah. Do you have anything more on this episode? Because everything else I've forgotten. Really.
Yeah. Now, mate, bag of wank. Bag of wank. Oh, what the good joke? Data saying, "Oh, I hope we die quick."
Yeah, I didn't think it was that good a joke, really.
I like that. It was his face that he was like. It was less the line and more the grin as he looked back. Back to where he was driving, like that.
New Data's good.
Yeah, I like Data.
Then let's do episode 10, and back to non-spoilers for us for The Last Generation. I think the episode was called.
I've got Children of the Borg written on my notes.
Yeah. What did you think of the episode then?
Yeah. No better. As I have the same feelings about this episode as I did about last week's episode. It's nonsensical, saccharine, fucking trite.
It's saccharine, yeah.
Mediocre.
Are you the guy from Mad Max or whatever?
Mediocre. That's how I would describe I have not enjoyed this series since the last episode we were in, when we got out of the nebula and there was that cloud of baby space, the cloud of baby Cthulhu's.
Yeah.
I have not enjoyed this series since then.
I can half understand that, and I need to see where this holds up for me on rewatch. I think it'll probably fare a tiny bit worse compared to, Discovery season 4, which fared a lot better. Yeah, I thought it was a fairly strong end to a okay to good season. I think this episode in particular, everyone TNG wise at least gets something to do. Where if you look at any TNG episode ever or any TNG movie, not everyone gets anything to do. And to me, the things that are detrimental to this episode are more so on the season than the episode, like like the changelings, like it being the D and the Titan, those sorts of things, I think are more on the season than the episode to me. So I think this is a good episode from where it kind of left off.
Nah. I disagree. It's just this episode just continues at the same quality of
I think it's much better than last episode. I think it's
exactly the same. It's exactly the same.
Really? Like I think that whole Jack escaping on a shuttle thing, and that whole up to there in the episode where they're just like, "Oh, Jack's escaped on a shuttle." Oh no.
It's just as
so
stupid.
Weak last episode.
It's just as stupid as if Earth falls, everything falls.
Yeah,
but why? Why though? Why though? Based on what?
They also say, because it's so fucking Earth-centric, they also say we get the return of Anton Yelchin. Not Anton Yelchin, sorry.
We get the return of Walter Koenig. Walter Koenig as Anton
Chekhov.
I liked that. The first minute of this episode I enjoyed. The intro nebula. That was cool.
He says in his intro, I've told everyone to stay away from Earth. And then less than 30 seconds later, Riker is going, he's leaning up and he's going where's the cavalry? Where's, the Romulans? And it's like, I heard that. Did you not hear that? Because it was on screen right in front of you.
No, he has an accent.
Yeah. It's like, no, sir, we're the cavalry. And it's like...
Did you notice that his accent got a lot more intense when he was literally quoting his grandfather or his father? He's like, as my father would say. And then his accent got more intense. It's like he's recording a warning message to the whole world. But, he's still doing an impression of his dad.
He's still got presidential duties, That's probably how he got there, doing impressions of his dad. The
Wessels.
It's Russian made. Yeah, so I completely understand, and I think that's a failing of last episode to me, where it's still a last episode failing, where every ship in the Federation is taken over but the D. And when they break out the Titan, Seven takes over the Titan again, using transporter guns.
Stupid.
Yeah. We've seen transponder guns before in Insurrection, so it's not too much worse than that. But last week, the second anyone took over a ship, the Excelsior got took over, the whole fleet just targeted it and shot at it, and it was gone in a second. And this episode, they're like, we better keep secret. Ooh. Better cloak. Or
we're transporting all of these young folk. Where should we transport them? How about should we
because they only
transport them
have
to the
so many
transport room?
sets.
They only
They
have
only
so
have
many
so many
sets.
sets.
Do you know what? Do you know what is a better set if you need to get rid of someone?
The
No
brig.
set, no set at all.
Yeah.
Stick
But
them in the fucking pattern buffer. Why weren't they
true.
just
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
pattern buffer? They used that trick all the time in Voyager.
Yeah.
Just stick
Or the
them. Why
brig.
wouldn't you
We
just
we had the brig set.
the
Jack
brig?
was in the brig set, a couple of like 8 episodes ago or whatever.
That feels like so long ago.
Yeah. It's a bit dumb. We can just say, the only reason they could hook it up to the transporter was like because it went to the transport. They didn't have site to site command or whatever. But yeah, they should have been able to lock them in the pattern buffer. Yeah, I'd first time I'd watched it, I'd forgotten that Raffi was with Seven as well. I wrote in my notes, "Where is Raffi through all this?" And I watched it again just before starting recording this, and I was like, "Oh shit, there Raffi is." Oh, there's Raffi. There she
Yeah,
is. Good work,
she's about.
Raffi.
She's hanging
Yeah,
around.
doing nothing. Yeah. So I think that's pretty trite, really. Well,
Yeah.
pretty rubbish for that character. But that character's been so underserved by this season overall. I don't think they should have included her really. I'm no great lover of the Raffi character. On the scale of Eleanor is so close to zero for me. She's probably
Yeah.
about here.
Yeah.
So she, a good way to the top. But
Like there was so much that they could have done with that character. Like she's such an interesting like baseline. Like she really does have such an interesting baseline of being like a recovering drug addict in a utopia where
yeah,
because of the mechanism of her role in that utopia drove her to drugs. Like she worked in fucking
she
spec
was a spy.
ops.
Yeah.
She was a spy in a utopia who was driven to drugs. Like that is so interesting.
And by the way, she dropped off the wagon drug wise about 72 hours ago.
Oh my god, this series has been taking space over such a short space of time.
Yeah. It's a ridiculously short amount of time that this season has taken place over. And she's fine. She's fine again. There's
She's totally
no
fine.
sort of semblance that she dropped off and took a very heavy narcotic just, a couple of days ago.
Yeah, well, she's been busy.
Yeah. We also learned that the fleet formation works on line of sight. That is an
What?
incredibly dumb thing from this episode. I'll give you that.
It's kind of like line. It's kind of stupid.
So, like, if you were line of sight and one ship goes behind the enemy ship, you're just fucked. You can't see each other.
Like, oh my god, it's such a fucking old person's understanding of how computers work.
Yeah.
But how does the Wi-Fi work? How does TikTok? Does TikTok have access to my Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That was pretty dumb. Space Dock being such a tank is pretty weird to me. But fine, I can live with it. Space Dock being destroyed and then rebuilt
within a year.
Within a year. I mean,
Like when they
that's enough
blew up
time
Space
to
Dog, I was like, "Holy shit! That's actually that's iconic. That's iconic."
and that's thousands of people dead. That's
But
thousands of people dead.
thousands of people dead. But this show is cowardly, and so it's fine. It's fine.
I don't think it's just this show. Anytime any big battle happens in Trek or any sci-fi, I have a problem with sometimes they'll say, you know, in what was it? Was it The Last Jedi or whatever, where they blew up 3 planets and they're like, that's millions of people, you know, like, okay, hundreds of millions at least, you know, or the Empire subjects millions of people. It's like billions, trillions, you know,
Billions, trillions, surely.
surely.
No,
You know,
no, it's
that
fine.
sci-fi always takes it down too many notches for me anyway.
I'm curious because like I reckon they probably will do Dune Messiah, but like at the start of Dune Messiah, Paul Atreides is talking about Adolf Hitler, happy birthday, and how he killed but potentially between 6 and 9 million people, and then he's like, I've killed 28 billion.
Yeah.
Does that make me better? Does that make me worse than Hitler?
Yeah.
I'm curious as to whether or not they will actually mention
Of
that in
course they
Dune
won't.
Messiah.
Of course they won't.
We've got Timothy Chalamet. The Shamalama Ding Dong can't be that much of. He can't be that much of a fucking fascist.
Mate, I'm waiting for them anyway because Doom Messiah is obviously set 16 years later,
Something like that, yeah.
ish. Yeah,
At least 12 years. 12 years.
Is that how old Aaliyah's supposed to be? I thought she was
No,
a woman.
No, in Dune Messiah, she's oh no, maybe it is. No, it's remember they're all younger. Like in the books, Paul Atreides is 17. And then there is a time jump of about 2 or 3 years, and then she's a child. In the last, she's like a child in the last chapter of Dune, and she's running around like when she's there with fucking Baron Harkonnen, and they smash through the building, and like there's explosions. And everyone's like, whoa, what the fuck's going on? There was an explosion. And Aaliyah's running around just stabbing people on the ground.
So it's got to be at least like 12 years.
And then it's 12 years. And then it's 12 years after that. Like and that's why she's like 15, 16 having a sexual relationship. But it was the 60s, 70s. So
I think you'll find it was the, I can't remember the year of June.
10,000 years from now. Yeah. That's the one thing I want out of
Chalamet is going to play Atreides. You know, he would have had to age ridiculously well.
Hold on.
15 years later, and he looks the same.
Right, Timothy Chalamet is.
I think they're going to get someone like Jared Leto. God forbid.
No. God no. No, because like if they hire Jared Leto, cult leader, to play an actual space messiah, we are all fucked. Timothy Chalamet is 27 years old, playing a 17-year-old in the last Dune film. In this Dune film, he's going to be playing a 19, 20-year-old. By the time they get round to making Dune Messiah, he'll be like 30, 32.
Yeah, but it's not what his actual age is. It's how much he looks different to when
God, he does look
Dune
like
was.
A boy.
And he should be like sand weathered as well, you know.
No, the still suits have a mass. They have a mass component.
Yeah, and he takes it off half the time. He walks naked through the sand. You know, he's a bit of a weirdo.
Yeah, maybe he will be in real life. Anyway, never mind a good sci-fi property. Let's talk more about this fucking bullshit.
I forgot where the fuck we were.
Here's a place that we can pick back up. Jupiter.
Yeah.
How long have the Borg been in Jupiter?
Only since last episode.
Only since last episode. That's a big Borg cube to have only been there since last episode. And like one would think that the second a giant Borg cube appeared and disrupted the fucking Eye of Horus or whatever that fucking bit is called.
Yeah.
someone would have noticed.
Earth was kind of busy,
They were kind
you
of
know,
busy getting stuff ready.
getting
Yeah, but they were
fucked.
getting stuff ready for a giant parade in space.
Yeah.
They should have been looking around to make sure everything was nice and tidy.
You forget, mate, there's changelings about fucking shit up. You can
Oh yeah,
no
the
prize this
changelings.
easily.
Like, oh yeah, no, totally. Like, absolutely. The fact that like Starfleet would make a a system that they have already seen fail twice, where they hook all the ships together. Happened in Prodigy, and it happened in
Yeah.
fucking Lower Decks. Like, this system can be used against us pretty easily. Um, but like, if there's a bunch of changelings in the room going, yeah, no, I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Starfleet's fucking idiots, aren't they?
But I did think it was quite funny when they get to Jupiter and he's like, enhance, zoom in on that bit,
Yeah.
on that bit, and he
The
put,
bit that looks like a black green thing.
yeah, giant thing, and then they zoom in and they see all the shit going on, and then the very next shot is like outside the ship when the fucking Enterprise is right up in front of
Yeah,
it. I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
why did they have to zoom in? Oh, because they're old. They're all
Well,
like,
that and
what's
it's
that?
not like an old
What's
James Bond
that?
movie where you need to show all the walking between places. You can it doesn't have to be real time. You don't need to see people fly places real time. Um,
Yeah.
I thought it was like very good at showing scale, this Borg cube, because like Voyager in particular, the Borg cubes in that are so small, like they are microscopic.
Yeah.
Um, and they try and get away with them being like tactical warp Borg cubes where they've got that metal, slapped on the side of it.
I
So
don't know,
tiny.
like later on in the episode when we see the Enterprise D just kind of drop above them all,
Mm,
it looked like when very large things move very fast, it looks like they're
mm.
moving slowly, even if they are moving impossibly fast.
Yeah,
It doesn't look like they're moving fast until they are so close you are fucked.
mm. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and like the speed at which it moves in relation to the people that are seeing it, we need models. We need models, and I don't mean like gorgeous people because the show already has that. But I mean like we need like the Mandalorian this season has sucked, but the in the last couple seasons of the Mandalorian, its use of models so good.
See, I really like the Borg cube and the D in this. I
Yeah, the
thought
Borg cube
it.
and the D, they look great until they get close, and then it's just it's this intangible quality of like that doesn't look real.
Yeah, yeah. No, I did find that with the D when there's the very close flyover of the bridge and then you're at the back of it. I found that you could say that the D moves too much like something from Star Wars, where when it's doing the flying through the Death Star 2 or Lilac
Mm,
Wars 64, it's flying through Venom 2 on
yeah,
its way to kill Andros. Um, it's
mate,
doing.
such a deep cut.
I
Like,
fucking love Lilac Wars
such a
64, Star Fox
such a
64.
deep cut, mate. No one's even gonna know what you're talking about. This is like the fucking um, Jack Crusher is the beautiful South all over again.
Yeah, yeah. Someone will know. Someone will know Lilac Wars. Someone. But yeah, they're flying through, and all the ships in Trek, and it's one of the reasons I really love Star Trek Legacy, the game, not the series. That they're saying is you try and turn a ship, and it turns like a fucking boat. It's like
Yep,
wow, no.
yep.
And they're going through this, Death Star central trench, and Data's, flying like a fucking maniac through it. And if there's one person in the world who could, it would be him.
Yeah, like the fact, like there was absolutely no doubt in my mind that Data was going to sort that out, and they were like,
No.
"Oh, someone would have to do all the calculations in the world at the drop of a hat," or
Yeah.
whatever they fucking said, and like I'm just watching it, like, well, Data's obviously going to do it.
Yeah. And
No, Data, we can't. He's like, I can do this. It's like, yeah,
my
we know, just do it.
my only thought that they could have done at that sort of thing as well is a saucer separation to do that, because a saucer is a bloody fucking wide thing in it.
I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of
Yeah.
that.
But that would make them have to make a battle bridge set, and they're not going to do that. They didn't do that originally. Why are they going to do that now? They just reused a TMP set, I think. They're
They
not going
did
to
it
make a bridge
twice.
for it now.
They did
Yeah,
it literally twice in the first episode and
in the
in
last
the
episode.
closing chapter of the movie.
Yeah. I think they've done it in one more episode where the Enterprise gets like thrown away from a planet, and they sort of
No, they didn't.
separate
They
the.
talked about. They talked about
Did
it.
they? Okay,
They
yeah,
talked about it in another
yeah.
episode.
But yeah, it would make them make a new set, and like I would have really liked to see engineering, but I know that's a big set to make, so you're never going to see engineering in this series.
They did. Yeah,
But how
They didn't
nice would
have
it have
the.
been to be able to see like the pool table?
Oh, I missed the pool table.
Yeah, yeah.
We got the Borg Queen, the least sexy Borg Queen we've ever had. Disappointed.
Not a fan. Uh, what? Why get Alice Krieg back? Other than the voice, which you can
I don't think that
identify.
was her in the makeup. That wasn't her in the makeup.
Really?
I don't think that was her.
I don't know.
It
I
didn't.
haven't looked at the clips or
It
whatever.
felt like the. It felt like the voice didn't match up with the face. But I
Yeah,
mean, they probably would have had to dub it anyway because she.
yeah. But
You're home
yeah,
now. Welcome home. Now you're home. Event
yeah,
Horizon.
yeah. It did feel like Event Horizon with like the dead Borg as well, like
Yeah.
with the ship or her feeding off it, and then she
Yeah.
just looked like the alien queen as well, like strung up, whatever, in
Reminded. Yeah.
bioorganic stuff.
Yeah. It made me think like Terra Metalis has definitely read the Revelation Space series because there's a character in Revelation Space. He's the captain of the Nostalgia for Infinity, which is a ship.
Yeah,
Which is a great name for a ship. And he's also a victim of the melding plague, so he is
okay.
one
He's
with the
strung
ship.
up to the ship. Yeah,
Yeah, he's like Pilot from Farscape.
Farscape.
Farscape's
Second Farscape
great.
reference of the.
It's weird, that isn't it?
yeah.
Farscape's great, better than
I
this
love
series
Farscape.
for sure.
Oh, I don't know if you can say that.
I'll say it. I'll write it on a sign.
When's the last time you saw Farscape? There are so many dud episodes in that. So many
Not
good episodes,
that
but so many
yeah,
duds.
I skipped some episodes of
Yeah.
Farscape when I rewatched
Half
it
of them,
a couple of years
at least.
ago.
Yeah.
Some.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't like the her being half zombified or whatever, and the Borg being half zombies. I thought that was and they try and make her more threatening because now her Borg are. She says something to the effect of, "Now my Borg aren't going to assimilate; they're going to annihilate." And you just go like, it's more threatening you taking me over and using me for your ill will than you just killing me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kill me and it's one person dead. Use me to kill more people, and that's like many people dead.
Yeah, like that line of Deanna's when she's like, it's just like mass quiet suffering, and then and like that sounds worse than death.
Yeah,
absolutely. But then obviously we see Jack in the Unimatrix, and he's having a great time. So stupid.
Yeah.
I did like the.
I mean, it's the same as we saw Zero in in a Borg headspace in the season of Prodigy that we just finished. I was going to say last season of Prodigy, but second half of season 1. And it was the same sort of thing there, where she was starting to feel euphoric. So it's fine enough. It tracks. It tracks with the rest of the book.
I suppose again from Revelation space, there's a race of humans who are part of a hive mind, and some people believe that, like, even if they are suffering, they don't know it because they're being programmed to think they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
So maybe.
But yeah, let's continue on the track then. In that, Picard's trying to unplug Jack, and is told if he unplugs him, he will die, or Jack will die.
Why?
So Picard plugs himself in. It's fine enough. The Queen says, and why he believes the Queen, who knows, that if you unplug him, the only way to get him out is he's got to want to leave. Which, why would the Queen say as well? Why would the Queen say the one way of getting him out?
Yep.
But, she's always a bit of an idiot. So he goes in, reminds him of the last 72 hours they've spent together. They hug.
Yeah.
I'm amazingly surprised. Last episode, when Deanna's in Jack's mind, he's like, oh, these petals, they're from an orchard, that my mum took me when I was a boy. Jack doesn't think about when he was a boy. He thinks about 72 hours ago when his dad had him in the brig.
I just want to go back to jail.
Please take me back to jail. It was so great when we were combative against each other when you had me in jail.
Like that whole sequence, it just reminded me.
Yeah,
it was a bit weak, and it's like there's at the end of, I think it's season 2 or 3 of The Expanse, when Miller finds Julie Mao, and he takes his mask off, and so the proto-molecule starts getting in, and he's like, right, well, it's fine, I'm gonna stay with you, like I'm gonna stay here with you. And we're both going to die together. I cried watching that scene.
Were you not emotional on anything in this episode?
No, because I was hopeful that I would be emotional.
They would die.
I was hopeful. Yeah, if they died, if they actually had the fucking sand to kill them, like they say, oh, if we blast this thing, it's gonna destroy the whole Borg cube, which includes Picard and Riker and Worf, and Jack. But I was like, are they gonna do it? Are they fuck?
Mate, I could have told you from episode 1 in this, they're not gonna, because we half knew the D was going to appear, and we knew all the cast was going to appear. We thought it was going to be Law, but I was like, they're not going to kill anyone in this series from the main cast at all.
But if they had it in them, they could have actually killed them all, because when they said that, they were inside the cube. The ship, the D was inside the fucking cube. So they're like, oh, it's going to destroy everything, including us. Like, are they going to have the balls to literally fucking bring the D back and then send it out in a proper blaze of fucking fiery glory? No. See, if they had, I might have had an emotion.
I think the reason they didn't isn't people like yourself watching it. I think it's the incredible, outrageous diehard TNG fans who would have been outraged that they'd brought the D back to destroy it, or they'd brought Riker back to kill him, or, that they brought anyone back to kill themselves.
Yeah, because they're all old men who still want to be relevant, and if the only way they can be relevant is by sacrificing themselves, then that reminds them that soon they'll be dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would have been fine for a Riker death or a Worf death. Worf especially, because
Worf was fine with it.
What did he do in this series?
He had a sword, and swords are fun. I
Swords are
like that
fun.
line. Why do you
Yeah,
carry it? Has a phaser in it. Why do you carry this? Swords are fun.
yeah. Riker's like, this is heavy as shit.
I do love how much Riker has been allowed to swear this season.
Yeah.
Makes
I like,
sense. Riker should be
see,
more sweary.
and Riker got stuff to do. And the last couple of
Yeah.
episodes, I think he's got a whole lot less to do since Data arrived. Like, there was even a scene where when Data comes into the room and meets Riker again, and Riker does this old, like, he smiles kind of like knowing that's kind of my scene's done for the rest of this series.
Yeah.
Frakes is just like, pressure took off me, thanks.
Yep. I'm just gonna
You know,
stand around and be the tall, handsome one.
yeah,
Still good in bed,
still,
bad at pizza.
yeah. But our diligent crew gets saved because Deanna has her special powers. See, did you not feel somewhat emotional when Riker is saying something like, I will see you again, Imzati. I will be waiting with our son.
No,
No emotion? No
no
emotion? Ah,
emotion. No, because
you heartless
the second he
bastard.
said no, because the second he said that, I was like, oh, she's gonna hear that,
Yeah.
and then she's gonna take, but then she takes over the fucking helm, which I didn't expect. But then everyone's like, oh, and like the internet is just full of people making women are bad drivers jokes. By the way,
I mean, women aren't bad drivers, but historically, Troy has been a bad driver.
historically, Troy has been a bad driver.
She's crashed
This,
twice.
yeah,
The two
and
times that
also
she's flown anything.
yeah, and she's she's not shown herself to be good at her actual job this season. She ran out of one counseling session,
Yeah.
and she spent the counseling session at the end of this episode looking up holidays.
Yeah. I'm fine with her. They do
Uh,
more with her, and the powers they give her fit and make her more
yeah,
of a useful character than TNG ever did.
yeah,
TNG, she was just a womb that could be raped. Really.
yeah.
Um,
I did like Crusher. They gave Crush like at the end of
mm,
last episode, everyone gets to their stations, and then Bev just randomly goes, "All systems operational, Captain." It's just like,
yeah,
thanks, Bev.
yeah. That's kind of like that's Data's job.
Yeah,
He does that.
yeah, but she's
You're
got a
supposed to be down
clipboard.
sick bay.
She's
Yeah,
she's got a clipboard. um,
yeah,
but then in this episode, they're like fire torpedoes, and she's like, "Yeah, sound," and she's just like, "Bam, bam, 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 bam."
yeah,
They're just like, "Bloody hell, Bev!"
yeah. It's been a long
It's like
20 years.
been a
She
long
says
20
it's been
years.
a long 20
Yeah, man.
years. Um,
I mean, this series did start out with her executing two people.
it did. Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like her shooting two unarmed, meaty goo men.
yeah. That she didn't know were goo men, and she just solves at the end of this episode. She's put in charge of Starfleet Medical, and she solves the Borg problem, and she solves the Changeling problem. You know, it's a wonder that anyone does any work when Bev's around, because apparently she's just solved everything within a couple of days.
Yep.
Yeah, miraculous Bev.
Yep.
Um, yeah. What else have we got? What else have we got other than the after the action? Have we got anything
Yeah. So
before
they,
the?
they they obviously they saved the day. Jack Crusher he takes his face thing off, but he's still got the armor on, and I'm like, is that wired in? Is he?
Yeah. Well,
How hooked up to that armor is he?
I'm so surprised they took the face thing off, because you can see where it like entry points to him. But it must have been an easier one, because those sets wouldn't have been right next door. They wouldn't film the same day.
Well, I mean, narratively speaking, like I'm guessing the Borg Queen, she's saying we don't need to assimilate. Well, then what? How come Jack's all assimilated up? And I'm guessing it's just for the vibe. Like he didn't match.
Yeah, they want him to look like Locutus is the thing, isn't it? And I
And
suppose
narratively, she
narratively,
wanted him to look like Locutus.
but narratively, they probably want him hooked up to the cube that has the broadcast thing, so he can broadcast his super brain into the young people's mind.
Nonsense.
Yeah, but I think they only took the face thing off because do you remember Best of Both Worlds? Like they have Picard in his like Borg pajamas or like Borg underwear for like the second episode, the whole second episode. I think that would have been too embarrassing for Ed Spielers, really.
Cowards.
Coward.
Cowards.
But yeah, we have the Titan and the Enterprise D fly through this wreckage of ships, and it's somewhat like the Undiscovered Country, but there's also ships just wrecked everywhere around.
Yeah.
This is the second time in 80 years or 20 years that the whole fleet has been decimated for the Federation.
Yep. The Titan, of course, being flown by a chef, which I loved.
Yeah.
I loved the moment where he's saying like, I'm the cook. She's like, man your station. I'm like that was the perfect, basically there was a joke that could have been made there that as someone who's worked in kitchens, I'm so annoyed that they didn't make, where they said, to your station, chef, make sure you keep it clean.
See, I was waiting. It wouldn't have fit into the universe of Star Trek, but I was waiting for an Under Siege joke.
Oh my god!
The bridge is under siege, and he's the chef. I'm just a chef.
They're more under siege than they are in the film Under Siege.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the Titan and D fly by. Seven gets interviewed by Tuvok, the real Tuvok, and she's ready to resign because Tuvok's setting her up. Really, Tuvok's joking around because if you listen to where she cuts him off, the only way he'd end that sentence where, it's like, and the you were all done for mutinying or like taking the ship. So the Federation has decided to, and then she cuts him off. How was that going to end before?
So the Federation has decided to promote you to captain.
Yeah.
Eyebrow.
Eyebrow. Tim Russ, always great. But we get the shore log, where we find out he was already calling her 7 of 9.
Which sounds absolutely nothing like the Shaw we meet at the start of this series, who is apparently after having recorded that message.
Yeah. I did like the line. It's something like, she's a rule breaker, but maybe the rules that she's breaking were already broken. I thought that was oh no, again, it's just classic just fucking
for you. Boomer fucking war film bullshit of just like, you're insubordinate and you're a rebel, but my god, you're the best damn officer I've ever seen.
But it's the last 20 minutes of like Undiscovered Country, or not Undiscovered Country, Voyage Home, where it's like, no, you're such a rebel, Kirk. You Admiral Kirk, you're a rebel. So we're gonna make you Captain Kirk, you rebel. You go for it, lad. You go for it. It's just the same, just with like prettier wording.
Yeah, exactly. A film that was full of boomers, and at the time were all also well into retirement age. And I don't want to be called an ageist because I'm not
bloody ageist.
I'm not saying that old people are bad, but what I am saying is the flavor of old people that this show is aimed at, which is like, pro-military, anti-young people, fucking glory hogs who are just like, we were the greatest generation,
Yeah. The greatest generation could have been the name of the episode, to be fair.
Should have
that
been.
would have been very.
Basically.
That would have been very.
Basically,
on the nose,
fucking
really.
was.
Yeah.
Jack Crusher
he's junior ensign by the look of his pips, I think.
Jack Crusher, Nepo baby.
Yeah, well, at least he knows he says, "Oh, it's fucking nepotism." Me, being
the
accelerated
fact that
through.
the fact that he can be fast tracked through Starfleet officer training so fast that he doesn't even know what his job is.
But hold on, the 7 of 9 gets promoted to captain before the 1 year later jump. Before that, she was in season 2, which is set in the same year, maybe a couple months before. Not in Starfleet at all. So she's a captain after maybe 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, but she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing.
But he goes,
she served on a Starfleet vessel.
I've flown a
before.
ship. I've done science stuff.
She was the science stuff. She was stellar cartography.
Stuff. Yeah.
And also, she's badass.
Yeah.
And also,
I think it's fine. He gets junior ensign, which is like lower than Harry Kim.
Yeah, but he doesn't know what he's doing. He gets on the ship and he's like, "What station am I on?" They didn't tell me what I would be doing on the ship when they posted me.
But to me, that's like how they didn't tell Picard what ship it was going to be.
Yeah, no. The Crushers kept that from Jack. They kept that from
Seven
Picard.
Could be keeping that.
The
from
establishment.
Crusher.
The paper. He would have had to sign paperwork. He would
in
have
this
had
universe,
to sign
there's
paperwork.
no fucking paperwork. There's no.
They would have shown him a tablet, and he'd have had to fucking stick his tongue in it or something.
You stand on the bridge and you're like reporting for duty, and it goes, "Oh, by the way, you want to go here? Report to your duty officer." That's it.
Do you not think that fucking Uhura? We've just watched a season of Uhura as a cadet on a ship, knowing that she's going to be a fucking communications officer.
Yeah. But it's a year later, a year fast track through, the academy, pushed out. It's first serving ship. I'm fine with where he is. What I'm not fine is
they send him to the tailor. They send him to the tailor. And then he got measured, and then they were like, "Right, sound, you've graduated."
No, I don't even think they send him to the tailor. They just give him whosever uniform he stole, like in episode 3 or 4, whoever that guy was. What I was much less happier with is the rechristening of the Titan A as the Enterprise G.
The Enterprise G.
G-O-G.
The Enterprise, son.
Yeah, I think that's dumb as hell. I do not like.
I'm fairly certain you predicted that at the start of the season.
Possibly, but I still think it's dumb as shit.
At least we know why the series that they're absolutely going to make isn't going to be called Star Trek Titan, which is lame.
I mean, it works as a better name. It still works as a better name. I don't think Legacy works as a name.
Legacy is so lame.
Legacy works better as that game title, because it's a legacy that's passed down between all these captains. I don't think it's great. But also, it kind of like ruins the lineage of Enterprise as well, because the Titan is a refit that, if you remember, still has components from Riker's Titan. So parts of it are what 30 years, no, 20 years old, let's say.
Yeah, the Enterprise is always supposed to be like, the
That and
perfected version, top of the line.
it's top of the line, and one of the most powerful ships in the fleet.
Mm.
Whereas the Titan A is smaller than the Sovereign. It's smaller than the Enterprise uh, F. It's smaller than the E. It's is it slightly? I think it's smaller than the D, the Enterprise G
It's
now.
definitely smaller than the D. The D is one of the bigger ships. It's smaller
But
than
in length
The
as well
Enterprise
as
D
like
is massive.
yeah, but like in length, the Enterprise D was a weird fat one that
Mm,
managed to hold so much because it was fat. Then the E was longer but so skinny, held less. Then the G
mm.
was even longer and slightly wider. And now it's gone like it's gone to like this, where it's small. It's between the sizes of the Enterprise C and the D,
And
and it's like it's so much of a step back.
it's a kind of nouveau constitution class in it. So
Yeah,
maybe like you
they
know
do
how
call it
like
Neo Constitute.
you know how like
Don't they?
retro is always
Mm,
coming back in. But people like
yeah,
new stuff and then people like vintage. So maybe maybe that's just the fashion. Or maybe it's because all the ships were destroyed and they were like, technically, this is top of the line.
yeah. I mean, I very much like, if we've got an endpoint, or we know there's a semi endpoint of the Enterprise J, of this really long monstrosity, that the ships,
They've only got two
the,
more. They've got two more
yeah,
ships to last us till the
yeah,
fucking temporal wars.
yeah, it's crazy. They've gone through them, but those ships now need to go from like teeny tiny to so fucking big in like two jumps.
Ridiculous.
Um, and the ships before that were getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then there's this like teeny tiny, and now it needs to like shoot up again. And it seems like such a waste for me.
Maybe the
I would have
Enterprise H is
preferred,
going to be a starbase.
yeah. Well, in
And then it's going to
Discovery,
go
that one of the,
down again to be the J.
yeah, in Discovery, a starbase is a ship.
Exactly.
See, I thought like I half would have preferred if they'd called it the Enterprise or the USS Picard, even though that was be even more nepo, because having a Picard serving on it. Um, but if he
Yes,
was
we're
Jack
going to fast
Crusher,
track you through training. We're going to name the ship after your fucking dad's ship.
yeah,
In fact, we're going to name it after your dad.
yeah,
We like you.
I know, but he did. He didn't even save the universe. Really, he fucked it. He just decided not to destroy everyone. Great work. Yeah, I do not like the Enterprise, it being the Enterprise G.
No.
If I'm honest, yeah, it's a bit shit, bit shit.
Ending the series with the Enterprise G for gangster.
Yeah,
Ending it with Crusher saying, "Right, we're going to Metalis Prime." Right,
mm.
Terry Metalis is just Rick Berman of a new generation. He's the new Rick Berman. He can full on get fucked.
No, he's nowhere near as bad as Rick Berman, in that he hasn't stripped all the women down.
No, but he did kill a load of women in this series. Not in real life that we know of. But he killed
the Vulcan?
He killed the Vulcan. He killed Vatic. He killed What's a Flops from Best of Both Worlds, the Admiral.
Oh, yeah. Not Yar, whatever her name is, Ro.
He killed Ro. He can go fuck himself.
No, I think.
I realized today. Sorry, just trying to think. Was there anything sexual? And no, not really. But And I
Speak for
think this
yourself.
is,
The D was on screen.
oh yeah, baby.
There you
I will say that I was like, why did that con officer, the non-binary one with the shaved head, why
Yeah.
did they end up being the one in the captain's chair when the Borg took over? And then when I was when I was looking
She
at
had a
that
green
clip,
head.
no, they
Oh, sorry, they.
get woke, motherfucker.
I can't remember
They
ever
have
having
the
a pronouns
most
said on
the
screen.
shot. They sit down in the captain's chair, head on. They had the most symmetrical face.
Did they?
Yes,
I,
I would
I, I just
know.
thought because they had green on the head, the Borg were like, that kind of matches our coloring.
No, it's for the
We
shot,
like
for
green.
the production design. They've got the most symmetrical face.
Yeah,
They will be in the shot where it's head on like that.
yeah. On a production design thing, obviously on the Enterprise G now, we have in on the command seats we have Captain Seven. Her number one is Raffi. And her special consultant, which is the same rank as Michael got in first season of Discovery, is Jack, and they're all wearing red, which is so like it's like the opposite of Discovery, where only Michael wears red. It's like everyone on that bridge, because Sydney as well wearing red.
Yep.
It's everyone that you care about on that bridge wears red.
I'm sure he was a doctor.
He was a doctor, but a rogue as well. He says about how he's scienced himself
He's a
out of
machine.
situations.
Fucking, he was a doctor, but he was a rogue.
He
What
was
is
a
he,
rogue.
Hawkeye? Is he
Yeah,
Hawkeye from fucking MASH?
yeah. He had to escape the Borg by choking that chicken, um, which is fully different from choking the chicken. With quotes all the way around it. He choked the chicken, not choking the
Oh,
chicken. He choked the
oh
chicken.
man. Oh, that was a
Oh,
sitcom. That was
yeah.
a sitcom. That was a sitcom set during the Korean War.
Lasted longer than the war. Um, yeah. So we've got the Titan, and why don't we talk about the after credits now, and then talk about the credits bit in a bit. So the after credits is Jack is
Jack,
unpacking.
Jack, he's unpacking his shit.
Yeah. And he
Bonjour.
gets a visit from Q, who I need to know what he's going to call him. He can't call him Mon Capitan or whatever. He needs to come up
Mon
with something new.
concilieur.
Ho, ho, ho.
Mon concilieur.
Yeah. Who pretty much says, the trial was over for your father, but the trial, there is still a trial to go for you. And I'm not dead because you think so linearly.
Well, I mean, I think I remember saying that at some point. Like Q, the one thing that kind of always bothered me about Q being, you know,
Dead.
omnipresent. No, omnipresent when after like I think a year or two ago, I just shotgunned all the Q episodes, and I was like, these all take place linearly from the point of view of the
Yeah.
show and from Q's point of view. Surely there would be some dotting around where someone goes, Q, we haven't seen you since that thing happened, and at some point he goes, no, that hasn't happened for me yet, but that never happened. So maybe Q is still dying.
It does for Riker, maybe. Oh, no, it doesn't. Sorry. I
Yeah,
was
but
thinking of the
no,
Voyager episode.
yeah, the Voyager episode, like he doesn't remember. He has no memory when
Yeah.
he goes back. So
But I'm trying to
they
think,
won't have any memory of this.
does he pick him up from the right points? Like, is Riker wearing the right uniform?
He is. He's wearing TNG
Oh,
uniform. When he's
but,
wearing a TNG uniform in that Voyager episode, he's not wearing
but
a.
shouldn't he be in first contact uniform then?
Yeah, but he's
Okay,
not.
so he has picked him out of the timeline.
But he doesn't remember that.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
But that's the thing. Like, so finally they've addressed. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
linear. Like,
yeah.
oh, Q, I thought you were dead, and he's like, yeah, no, I was literally just telling Picard that.
Mm.
Um, and I'm gonna go see him again in a minute.
No, I don't think it says like I was just finished telling
No, he
Picard
could
that
have
I was
been. He
dead.
could, but what I'm saying is like he could have been. He's like,
Yeah, yeah. But it's
I
like
mean, he could have
for
been like,
me,
he could have
the
been like
non-linear
Picard.
stuff is like is
He
Doctor
could have been,
Who, River Song, and the Doctor, like
yeah.
where they're both heading the wrong way.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like he could have been like, when he's like, my dad told me you were dead. He could have
Hmm.
just been like, I haven't even told him yet.
Yeah.
You know?
Or he could have been like, yeah, it's hard to do the Q never die because that then implies that it's not set before Q realizes he's going to die. Um, it's a hard one to write around, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah, fine. I'm fine with it. It does, it heavily implies we're getting Star Trek Legacy, I suppose. Terrible
Absolutely.
title.
Do you
Um,
think I think the reason why we didn't hear Seven of Nine's like go line for going
mm,
to warp, because as I've said, I think the writing of this show is terrible. The dialogue especially. I don't think they could think of a good line.
no, I think they've been pushing it for a while, and I don't know why everyone has to have a line. Why
I'd
does
have a
everyone have
line.
to have a line? No, but
I'd be
like
uh,
Cisco didn't have a line. Janeway didn't really have a line.
I have a line. Whenever I go anywhere with someone, I always say, let's roll.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're
Uh,
doing it now for
is that
so
from Starsky and Hutch?
TOS didn't really have lines, so
I just
TNG
went to pick up my phone to
yeah,
Google something.
and it's
This is
recording
the
me now.
phone. Yeah, this is the phone case.
Uh, so
Whatever.
TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise. Enterprise didn't have one either. So like only TNG really had one, and that was Engage, which is just like go.
Yeah,
DS9,
but
Voyager, Enterprise didn't have one. Then they've gone like Discovery. Oh no, you need a line, Michael, and it's like let's fly. Then
yeah,
it's
but that's
Strange New Worlds is
because
like punch it. Lodex is
no,
warp
no,
me.
no. Pike in the Kelvin timeline was punch it, but that's because
Okay, yeah,
that's what Han Solo's line was,
yeah,
and J.J. Abrams is a Star Wars fan.
yeah. Remind me what
In
Pike's
Pike's is in
Strange New
this
Worlds line.
is hit it,
Hit it. Sorry, yeah. Punch
hit
it,
it.
hit it.
Um, uh, Obviously Picard's was engage. Um, Lorca's was go.
Go is not a line. I say go. Lots of I can say
Go.
go. Yeah.
Go.
I don't know
Um,
why. I don't know where this mysticism of like each captain has their own line has come from. It can only be, realistically in the more recent Trek stuff. And even
uh,
then, half the time it's a fucking joke with Lodex and Prodigy. You know, she could just say engage. It doesn't need to be something magical that she says.
Spock's is. I would like the ship to go now.
Yeah, but this is still like recent Trek. Anytime in TOS Spock would have the ship, he wouldn't say a line to say like, "Oh, I want it to go now," or you know, punch it, or warp me, or
Warp
um,
me.
fast we go now.
Warp me.
Yeah,
I remember I made a meme about um what Saru's line should be in the group. I'm just gonna
yeah. I
try and
think that's where
find
it
it.
came from. Like Saru had to have a line, and was Saru thinking of a line for ages? And I think that's where the mysticism about a line has come from.
I think part of the mysticism what the line should be comes from, the look on Pike's face because they pull in.
Yeah.
And he says, "Hit it."
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not a fan of it because all it's going to mean is, what are they going to do in 10 years when we've got 5 or 6 more Star Trek series? What are they going to start saying, like, me run fast now? It's going to be ridiculous. It's such a weird thing to decide that everyone needs their own fucking line on. I don't no.
No, just no. Is that your line?
I mean,
no.
It's just no, bad, no, down, Star Trek, down. You're putting a cap on the like total number of series that you do if you're like every captain needs a line. It's like, fucking hell. Come on, man.
So the last scene, as the credits roll, we see Jean-Luc Picard leading a game of poker. I'm thinking of the last episode I'm thinking of the last episode of TNG. How did this episode end again?
The same. It's poetry. It rhymes.
Oh, yeah. Yes, because this show is made by Star Wars fans.
No, it's not. I think that there's a high level of reverence for how TNG originally ended. That's, again, I think we said many episodes ago that this was going to end with a poker game. And lo and behold, a poker game it ends with.
Honestly, it's saccharine, trite, mediocre, but worst of all, this series is fucking cowardly.
I understand the cowardly. I understand the saccharine.
Like these people, like all of the main characters. The only main character that they killed was apart from Ro, was Shaw. We didn't earn that. We didn't earn that death. I think we've more than earned the death of Jean-Luc Picard.
But they can't kill him, and Data were almost bulletproof because they died in season 1. They weren't going to kill them again.
They killed Data twice already. They could have killed Picard another time. They could have killed Riker once.
Yeah, I think if anyone was going to die, it was going to be Riker or Worf.
Yeah, man, this is a bullshit show. I'm glad it's over.
I thought it was fun. Did you at least think it was better than season 1 and 2?
No, I cried at the end of season 2. When Picard and Q hugged it out. I cried.
I think that season was so poor.
I mean, the season was meh, but that's because they were remaking a meh fucking Star Wars movie. The Voyage Home.
Yeah. You're going to get some angry people on that if they're still watching.
Fucking do it.
But yeah, I think that's our opinions on the episodes 9 and 10 at least.
Yeah, because we've got to bring this bad boy to a close because
we are over 2 hours now.
We've been going for too long.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to like, comment, subscribe, comment, subscribe, comment, subscribe, and do all that in the below or above or wherever you are.
Do it all in that order.
Yep. How many times did I say like? It needs to be an odd number of times.
Yeah,
like it an odd number of times.
Yeah.
And on that, shall we say?
Let's fly. I would like the show to go, please.
Sky spirits, take me away.
Fucking please, for the love of
Akuchi.
God. Akuchi Moya.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah. Live long and prosper, motherfuckers. Like, don't worry. Soon we'll have strange new worlds. And life
And
will be
peace and
good.
long life, double the masses.